Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall's office has discovered, get this, that gambling machines previously seized in an illegal gambling raid in Selma have resurfaced in a different county's bingo hall. How the hell did this happen? This revelation has raised concerns about the enforcement of gambling laws and the ongoing illegal activities despite previous raids and seizures. They still had the stickers from the evidence locker on them. Is this an inside job? What is happening here? They raid, they take, and then they appear elsewhere? They're saying it's unclear how these machines ended up there, but somewhere in the chain here, there's a bunch of people who are helping these gamblers. I gotta say, it sounds like it's coming from inside the government.
Number 6.
I want you to remember number 6 when we get to number 1 here today, guys. Alabama state sales tax on groceries will remain at 3% on September 1st, 2024. Instead of changing and going down 1 percentage point as previously anticipated, because the law requires Alabama to see sufficient growth in the state's education trust fund for these subsequent cuts to take place. They're trying to continue chopping away at this, but you need 3.5% growth in order to make that happen in the previous year. They need all of that stuff to take place in order to get that reduction. So a 1 cent reduction not happening this year. I hate the way they did this. I hate it. I understand it, but I hate it. And now we're going to have to see growth there. There's some issues coming on this.
Number 5.
Alabama Republicans are not too happy with the revised indictment in the federal government's case against former President Donald Trump. And they're calling it election interference. Yeah, the Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith filed a revised indictment the other day, and we're all supposed to be like, oh my God, is this where they get him? Oh no, he's going to jail. Oh, they're going to get... This is election interference. I mean, that's what it is. There's no question about it. It's election interference, and it is wrong. U.S. Representative Barry Moore, Republican out of Enterprise, criticized the indictment, obviously calling it election interference. And U.S. Representative Robert Aderholt of Haleyville accused President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris of weaponizing the Department of Justice through this action. Trump has pled not guilty to these charges, obviously, and it is very unfortunate to see the deep state weighing in once again.
Number 4.
Vice President Kamala Harris has a press conference today. She'll be bringing her emotional support vice presidential candidate with her. So that's nice. Dana Bash will also be sitting on her lap, if I remember correctly how this is going to be set up. But they're going to tape it, and then they'll let us see it. Isn't that very, very nice of them? What questions will they ask? Why are you so sexy and beautiful? How did you become so wonderful? Oh, you're the greatest person that's ever lived in the history of ever. Questions they won't ask, like, what the hell did you do to the border? What's wrong with you? Like, weren't you the most liberal senator in the Senate in 2019? How are you now doing all these things? So we'll see where they get with all of this and how they can frame this in a way that makes Kamala Harris look good through media magic and editing. And what about Medicare for All? Can you explain your position on that? What about fracking? Can you talk about... Oh, no, don't worry about that. It's vibes, yo.
Number 3.
Many congressional Democrats are in love with those vibes, arguing that Vice President Kamala Harris should shut her stupid mouth. Now, that's my interpretation of it. They're not actually saying that. They think she should emphasize character and values over detailed policy proposals as the election draws near. One United States senator is saying, well, we don't have enough time to put out policy papers explaining what Kamala Harris wants to do on everything and putting out legislative ideas. We just don't have time for that. Plans, those are for nerds. But the unnamed Democrats, they're much, much more bold. Quote, this election will clearly be won and lost on vibes. And Democrats right now are winning in the vibes department. After the DNC, we don't need to focus on the nitty gritty. We just need to focus on winning. That's the strategy.
Number 2.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, Republican of Louisiana, intervened to ensure former President Donald Trump could attend a wreath-laying cemetery at Arlington National Cemetery commemorating the 3rd anniversary of the Afghanistan withdrawal. Gold Star families who invited Trump faced difficulties coordinating the event due to restrictions from Arlington officials. Unnamed bureaucrats interfering once again. The deep state. Yes, I'm telling you this. It's the deep state. And it is all the same. Arlington officials interfered with a former president coming and laying a wreath for Gold Star families. That person should be fired. I'm worried about retribution. You should. Because if I was president of the United States, I would fire you. If I became president of the United States, I would fire you. Retribution is needed. But Mike Johnson got this done. Good for him.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
You remember number 6? You remember this? Grocery taxes can't come down. Remember that? Unless we have a reduction in the ETF. Remember that? Okay, good. Listen to this story. Alabama schools are racing to spend the last $500 million in federal pandemic relief funds by the end of September. On what? I don't know. They don't know either. They just want to spend the money. I got some advertising I could sell them. Maybe they will put some money in there. They will talk about how great the school system is. How about that? State officials are now noting that they've lost $20 million because of how they didn't spend it before. And now that's inaccessible. Any head's going to roll over that $20 million? Any head's going to roll? Now, I'm not sitting here making the argument that we should spend all this money. I don't think that we should just be spending money to spend money. There's another story here. But just imagine this. If I cost Cumulus Broadcasting $20 million, you know what they would do to me? You know what they would do to me? They'd probably kill me. They wouldn't just fire me. They would probably murder me. That's what they would probably do. But if you're a bureaucrat in the state of education department, they're just like, did you lose us $20 million? Oh, my God. What are you doing? You got it. You got to spend that $20 million. Senate Budget Chairman, State Senator Arthur Orr of Decatur, expressed concern over losing $20 million in federal aid, noting that it's troubling to have unspent funds while there are constant demands for more money in education. And this highlights inefficiencies in government spending and the need for better financial management in education. Now, that's for all government, but let me take this a different path here for just a second. We need more money. If we have school choice, it will wreck the entire system. By the way, here's $500 million we didn't spend. There's another point to it, too. Why did we send money from the federal government, we just printed it, down to schools that obviously didn't need it? When was the pandemic? It's called COVID-19, but it happened in 2020. It's now 2024, and they have unspent COVID money? So we just dumped this money on the states and said, do whatever. That's why we're building prisons with it. And because I'm the only person doing anything close to research on this, let me tell you this. I know I'm going long here, but I don't care. Just want to point something out. Michigan also has $500+ million they didn't spend. That's 2 states with $1 billion in pandemic money they didn't spend. You think they're the only 2? Hell no. That means they dumped all this money, they printed all this money that we did not need onto states who did not spend it. This caused our inflation problem. Does anyone realize that? Just checking. But remember, can't lower the food tax 1 percentage point. Just throwing that out there. Something you might want to know about. Something you might want to get involved about. Something you might want to be pissed about. Now is the opportunity to express that opinion. How do you do that? Simple. QC Connects free speech phone lines. 866-494-WVNN. That's one way to do so. You can also get in on the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line, where you can also get your questions in for 10 with him. They should be 10 with bowling pins. It should all be bowling-related questions today. That's what it all should be. Wrong number. 866-494-WVNN. Or you can email me.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. All bowling related questions, obviously. That's what we're going to be doing today. So stay tuned. We'll get into all of that as we move forward on this fantastic radio program. What is tomorrow? What is today? What is happening?
The Bowl-a-thon?
That's right. The beatdowns begin today. When do they stop? When I get tired. That's how it goes. We'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.